Today we are taking a look at Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling. This is the Kuroe Shizuku version figure in the BiCute Dark Figure line by FuRyu. My Dress Up Darling is a series built around cosplay, costume making, and the relationship that grows through that shared world. Within the story, Marin is one of the central characters, and she leaves a strong impression through her bright energy and her deep enthusiasm for cosplay. That makes her a character who can transform her appearance dramatically while still keeping a very recognizable presence. Today's highlights for this figure are the expression, the costume arrangement that brings Kuroe Shizuku elements together very effectively, and the posing. The first highlight is the expression. The slightly lowered brows, the weight in the upper eyelids, and the small open mouth create a quiet, hesitant mood rather than something exaggerated. Even though the purple eyes are large, the face stays controlled and easy to read. The second highlight is the costume. The black horns, red roses, wings, tail, layered frills, and fishnet tights are placed as separate accents across the figure, while the purple tones connect them instead of letting them feel scattered. The result is an outfit with many parts, but the layout stays very clear. The third highlight is the pose. One arm closes the space around the face, the other lifts the skirt outward, one leg extends down, and the other bends back, so the figure is built from changing directions instead of one straight line. That gives the full silhouette a much more active flow. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. The head is built around the face first, and the expression establishes the mood before the hair and head accessories expand it outward. The eyes are large and purple, but they do not feel overly bright because the upper eyelids sit low and carry weight across the gaze. The black lines along the top grow slightly thicker toward the outer ends, and beneath them there is a separate lower line with fine lash detail. So each eye is outlined by more than one boundary instead of a single simple curve. Inside the irises, bright circular highlights and smaller white accents sit over a darker center, while the purple spreads outward into a softer tone, which keeps the eyes from looking flat. The brows can be seen through the gaps in the bangs, and they slope down slightly toward the outer side, matching the face's hesitant mood. The mouth is very small, opening only a little at the center with soft red color inside that narrow shape. It does not stretch wide across the face, so the expression stays restrained rather than dramatic. Small white dots sit on the outer cheek area, and because those accents are so limited, they do not overpower the face. The hair then frames that expression in a controlled way. The hairstyle is a short bob that stops before it reaches the shoulders, and the bangs are divided into front pieces of different widths across the forehead. The pieces near the middle hang the lowest, creating a clear vertical emphasis at the center of the face. The sections along the outer side of the face angle slightly inward in front of the cheeks and taper into narrow pointed ends, leaving a thin gap between the hair and the skin. From the side to the back, the hair gathers into a rounded mass, but the surface is still divided by vertical grooves, so the back does not become one smooth shell. The lower edge breaks into small rises and dips before stopping above the neck. At the top of the head, a thin band runs across the crown with a lattice-like pattern on its surface. Mounted over that band are the black horns, and at the base of each horn sits a red rose. These parts remain readable as separate additions placed over the hair volume. The upper body is organized around a very open chest and shoulder area, but it never feels empty because the costume parts are stacked in clear layers from the neckline into the waist. The main body of the outfit is a deep bluish purple, and the chest is shaped into two rounded raised sections divided by a soft central drop. The upper edge does not run in one flat curve. Instead, the two sides rise separately and then fall toward the middle, so the chest line has a clearer change in height. Directly below that, a short frill runs across the lower edge of the chest, and it continues around the sides and into the back at the same height, so it reads as a full band wrapping around the torso rather than a front-only accent. Around the shoulders and upper back, a larger pale purple frill rises outward. This part does not cover the chest from the front. Instead, it sits higher around the shoulder line and follows the opening toward the back, allowing the front to remain open while still giving the upper outline a strong edge. Because of that, the exposed areas and the frill edges work together very clearly. The torso narrows gradually from the fullness of the chest toward the waist, and the front surface is kept comparatively clean, with the chest frill and the waist transition doing most of the work in dividing the form. One arm rises across the front of the body, bends sharply at the elbow, and brings the hand up near the underside of the chin. The other arm drops lower, bends more softly, and then turns at the wrist so the fingers can pinch the skirt. Because these two arms do different jobs, the upper body never feels symmetrical. One side folds inward toward the face, while the other opens outward toward the lower half. The nails are painted in a dark color, so the fingertips stay tied into the rest of the outfit. Seen from the back, the body opens widely. A large section of the back is exposed, thin straps cross over that open area, and the black wings are attached at the center and spread outward. The skin area sits deepest, the crossed straps pass over it, and the wings project in front of both as a separate addition, which gives the back its depth. The lower body begins with the short skirt at the waist, and that skirt is what first opens the figure into a wider shape. The fabric is gathered more tightly at the top and then spreads into larger waves toward the hem, so the folds are not uniform all the way around. Some sections push outward in deeper curves while others fall more softly, which prevents the hem from forming a perfect even ring. The area being pinched by the fingers is lifted upward, and because of that, the inside surface of the skirt can be seen there, while the opposite side and the rear sections drop lower with a heavier edge. The skirt does not simply circle the hips at one level, it rises where the hand grips it and falls elsewhere, giving the whole lower half more variation. From the back of the waist, the tail extends outward as a separate slender part. It first drops down, then curves around the outside of the legs in a wide arc and ends in a pointed, arrow-shaped tip. It does not blend into the skirt or the thighs, so it adds another flowing line around the lower body. The legs themselves are arranged in two different ways. One leg extends down more directly, creating the stronger vertical root toward the base. The other bends back from the knee, so the thighs and lower legs do not sit in parallel with each other. The skirt opens around the upper thighs, leaving a clear section of skin visible before the fishnet tights made with actual thread begin. That creates a three-step transition: exposed thigh, pale purple upper band, and black net below. Along the upper edge of the band there is a row of small rounded shapes, and across the band itself there are flower-like lines spreading over the surface. Below that, the black fishnet runs down the legs and changes appearance depending on the curve beneath it. Around the thighs, knees, and calves, the net still allows the leg shape to read clearly, and on the bent leg, the change in surface around the back of the knee remains easy to follow. At the feet, the shoes are thick-soled strap shoes with rounded toes. A thin strap crosses the top of the foot, a round fastening detail sits toward the outer side, and the thick heel includes a cut-in plane, so the shoes do not read as one heavy block from front to back. This figure is approximately 25 centimeters tall. That's about 9.8 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Marin Kitagawa by FuRyu stands out because this figure combines a restrained expression, layered dark costume elements, and a pose that guides the eye naturally across the whole piece. The face leaves a controlled first impression. The slightly lowered brows, the weight in the upper eyelids, the large purple eyes with bright highlights inside them, and the small open mouth create a quiet and hesitant mood rather than an exaggerated one. The hair strengthens that presentation very effectively. The short bob keeps the outline neat, while the bangs separate into pieces of different widths, and the strands near the cheeks taper inward instead of forming one hard frame around the face. Above that, the thin headband, black horns, and red roses add a clear second layer over the hair and give the head area more presence. The upper body works well because the costume layout and the pose support each other closely. The deep bluish-purple chest area rises in two rounded sections. The short frill beneath it wraps around the torso, and the larger pale frill lifts around the shoulders and upper back while still leaving the front open. One arm folds upward toward the face, while the other moves down and outward to pinch the skirt, which keeps the upper half from feeling static. The lower body gives the figure much of its appeal. the short skirt spreads into large waves, and the lifted section of the hem creates visible height changes around the full circle. The thighs remain clearly visible before the fishnet tights made with actual thread begin, and the pale purple upper bands with their rounded edging and flower-like lines make that boundary especially noticeable. The contrast between the straight downward leg and the bent backward leg keeps the posing lively, while the curved tail and the thick-soled strap shoes complete the lower half cleanly. What makes the figure especially effective is the way all of these elements connect. The eye can move from the horns and roses into the face, down across the chest and frills, through the lifted skirt and thighs, and then out toward the bent leg and tail without feeling stuck. Because of that, fans of My Dress Up Darling or Marin Kitagawa should find this figure very appealing. Collectors who like restrained expressions, layered dark costume arrangements, fishnet tights made with actual thread, and poses with a wide flowing silhouette should find it a very satisfying addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.